but at the number that Effort has, and the number of Goliaths that Ruby has, there's just no chance I see that happening. With Charon boosters, weapons upgrades, and no Carapace upgrades for those mules, I'm not seeing that being any sort of opportunity. Still using his vultures, having some vultures all over the place, at least to scatter around, have some map control. I'm so surprised he hasn't done anything in the lower left hand. I honestly feel he should have been able to do that, because now Effort has at least gotten some Hydras out, trying to micro against some of these mines, going to be effective in some cases, not effective in some. Still doing a pretty good job clearing those mines. Just Hydra Michael wasn't only a single Hydra while going down the lower left hand. Now with his Hydras in that position, these vultures not going to be as effective. He's still going around mining all over the place though, just to prevent Effort from putting out any sort of more bases. It feels to me like Ruby hasn't even spotted the lower left hand, because he had vultures run by as the drone was putting down bases. Actually thinking of putting down his own third, going to float it up to the 4 o'clock. And still anyone's game, because Effort really hasn't accomplished too much with these mules. He hasn't really done too much economic damage, and he hasn't really done anything lower left besides getting that double gas up. That double gas, however, extremely critical, really going to help him out, and he's at least going to be able to keep up production so far, but he's going to be able to need to saturate fully the minerals as well. Fourth factory now on the way for Ruby, while these mules are going to try to go for another pass, pick off a low on SCV, and probably, pick up the SCV building the command center, and also going to get the spot on the command center coming up, so he's going to know that Ruby's going to have at least a small spot of vulnerability, at the 4 o'clock. Ruby actually getting his upgrades has for both his aerial and ground forces, has Mutalisk with Carapace 1, and has Hydra's weapon ones, and there is a dropship coming up. Only one single vulture apparently inside of it. I think 4 vulture drop inside of the main would be very effective now, but it's only one single one. I'm not quite sure. There are Mutalisks on the main. One single vulture, that's not really going to accomplish much. Might go in, pick up one single drone. Yeah, one drone goes down. Let's see whether it's going to make it 2. He is going to make it 2. Make it 3. Yeah, going to make it 3 before it dies. Okay, that's definitely effective enough. He's trying to go for some sort of counter-attack, apparently. Engaging 2 Goliaths here just in front of the natural expansion. He's going to be able to manage to pick them off just before more Goliaths come in and actually start attacking them at the fullest. Mutalisks in 2 groups actually flying all over the place. I think that was the dropship coming down. It did its job though. Vulture for 3 kills going inside the main. He did not want to have to lose the dropship alongside, but still getting a fairly large army. Tanks, quite a few tanks alongside those Goliaths, just to make sure the Mutalisks don't pick them off. So he's definitely thinking of going for a future break. At the moment, just defending his 4 o'clock, getting his economy up, just continuing getting a constant number. And I really like the fact that he keeps getting vultures, because the weakness of a Terran mech army is its extreme lack of maneuverability. So definitely want to have some vultures all place, getting a semblance of map control. With those Mutalisks in the air, you won't have complete map control, because they're still going to be able to fly all over the place. Vultures are, however, extremely quick. The entire mech forces weapons 1, armor 1 upgrades now. Not going to be able to land, apparently. At the 4 o'clock, I think it's a burrow zergling or something there. Or bird of Hydra or something along those lines. I'm not really sure what else it could be. Okay, finally landed. Okay, I think we were just not quite having floated. Mule's actually going to go for it here. Gonna catch. Ooh, some tanks in the open. Didn't really kill them, though. Now going to go for the main. At least going to catch the Goliaths off guard. Not really many Goliaths in his natural position. A few Goliaths there. He's meanwhile going to go in, try to engage all the SCVs, as many as he can. They'll just go around, thinking of picking up the armory. There are 2 armies there. Thinking of picking those 2 up. Picking those 2 armies will be critical. Make sure Ruby does not have the weapons advantage. First armory goes down. Second armory most likely also going down. He's going to lose the Mutalisks in this. But picking off both armories. Oh, man. Weapons 1 upgrade was definitely seconds away. Should have been seconds away that Weapons 2 upgrade, I'm sorry. Armor 2 not as close, but definitely not too far away. Man, that's bad. Turrets all over the place at this new base. So its Mutalisks did get damaged fairly heavily, but still Effort playing fairly well. Having that lower left hand is really beautiful for him. It's kind of far off the way, but the double gas. Ooh, that double gas. Excuse me while I get a sip of water. So you have this thing with commentators that they need to talk a lot, so their throat gets kind of dry. It's a problem. Ruby not apparently planning a mine at the 12, but he is getting spots that Effort is going to take his 4th base. And losing this armor is pretty bad. Seriously, it's not even funny how bad that is for him. Especially thinking about the fact that Weapons 2 was not far away, less than a minute away. Should have been. So now he has to rebuild those in different positions, no less, because supply depots are in the way now. But really heads up play by Effort. Getting Carapace 2 for his mutas. Wondering whether... I'm actually not expecting big air from him at all. I think he's going to be engaging especially big air. Guardians are very vulnerable. He's actually going to go for attack here. This could get absolutely slaughtered. He's just engaging Goliaths. Goliaths being allowed to attack as they will. Hydras cannot move in very close because those tanks are behind those Goliaths. They can just siege up and shell those Hydras like crazy. Just Hydras overall can engage tanks, but not when they're in very large number and when they're being blocked by Goliaths. Hive tech now up. So definitely getting some Dark Swarm into play would be very nice for him. Getting some Plague as well. Dark Swarm to help him out again, help his ground forces up against those Goliaths and tanks. Tanks, of course, do some damage under the Dark Swarm, but only their splash. So overall, still going to be effective. He's going to move, what is that, control group of Hydras at this next expansion. Going to be able to pick off the barracks, so stop also the production of the factories. Muto's going to move in alongside. Ruby actually going to expand to the mineral only at the 3 o'clock, and that's going to get picked off. And the commands are just going to get picked off. Ruby, honestly, not paying attention. I'm not really liking how certain parts of the game is not being paid attention. Hydras have weapons to upgrades at this point, so at least effort has done some economic damage on all sides, and having delayed those upgrades, he's going to be able to get a leg up on those upgrades. Meanwhile, just moving in with the Hydras, picking off all the anti-air defenses. This is really what I don't like about a Terran mech army. Just those tanks taking age to come back. So quite a few turrets have gone down on SCV or two alongside. Armor and weapons, 2 on the way. Just has to be careful not to lose all that yet again to some crazy Muto play. 3rd Evo Chamber on the way, so it's going to be all 3 upgrade types. Means he is going to continue going fairly heavy on Hydras. Probably will continue getting some Mutos alongside because they've helped him out. They're having air superiority, especially against the non-mobile Terran, is fairly important. Also, I gotta say, I'm not liking the Ruby. I'm not seeing a single vulture. He's had vultures for a while. He has a science vessel out now. But honestly, not having any more vultures out there, I feel is actually a bad decision by him. I honestly feel he should continue pumping vultures, should continue getting some vultures, continue planting mines all over the map. He still might catch some forces all over the place. He will still give him full advantage of knowing when it is that the forces are going to be coming at him. It just helps having some mines all over the place, just helps having some forces all over the place that are going to be able to give you that full information. Mula's going to go for yet another attack, a little bit split, not really clumped up, just going to start being attacked by those turrets. Pretty bad position. Science vessels are going to help. Irradiates are going to help against those. Irradiates are going to help against those mutalisks, and some defensive matrices could also come in handy. EMP is not going to be found. There's not going to be found any sort of use for EMP in a TVZ, I'm afraid. But now a 5th gas coming in from efforts. He's on 4 bases now and has 5 gases. And when you can do that, that is just so critical. Getting crap a lot of lurkers now as well. There is some mobile detection, of course. Finally, some vultures out in the field alongside, but mobile detection. So there are some science vessels. Is going to help, but not really quite sure how. Just has to be very careful not to get him caught. Irradiates Hydra, apparently. Was that a Hydra that he irradiated? Just a random Hydra? Hello, Hydra. I'm going to irradiate you. Die. I don't think that was a defiler. Definitely. Honestly, using irradiate on a Hydra, even if you're trying to get rid of a group, just stopped that Hydra and kept moving the rest of his Hydras, so whatever. Nidus is up all over the place too, so if there's going to be any sort of attack, Defiler's now out, there's going to be any sort of attack coming in from Ruby, because he hasn't put on any pressure. The only thing he's done was that early vulture movement, and now he's just taking bases, trying to sit on comfortable and defensive position, and that's just giving effort time to do whatever the heck he pleases. But yeah, if he does eventually go for an attack, the Science can also allow effort to reinforce at all times. Effort even has enough army, I think, at this point to go for a counterattack. Those Defilers is definitely going to help. Vulture's still trying to at least run all over the place. Act as spotters, Carapace 1, weapons 2 upgrades now for effort alongside him getting that inside 6 o'clock. Minor only. And effort, Ruby establishing the upper right hand. He has a pretty decent defensive grid there. A lot of tanks all over the place. It is going to be a Science coming in, flying right over the Hydras. Might not want to do that. He's going to put one Irradiate on one of those Hydras. I'm actually quite interested to see how he's just irradiating some random troops. A lot of mines.